Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark movie fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm your former Hallmark hater.
Today we're discussing A Heidelberg Holiday from Hallmark's Countdown to Christmas series. Just a quick little programming note if you're like, what's happening with the schedule here? We are both traveling for the holidays, and we didn't want to leave you hanging, so we rearranged our schedule a little bit. You can check out the full schedule of the reviews we're releasing, but don't worry, we're not missing the big hits this week. We've got Biltmore, we've got Scottish. It's all coming. In the meantime, enjoy our review of A Heidelberg Holiday. We would love for you to join us outside the podcast. Be our friend on Instagram. You can find us either at Girls Gone Hallmark or at Megan and Wendy.
Jump into our Facebook group, Girls Gone Hallmark, where we're there often, you and I. We engaged with the people over there. One of the members messaged and said, hey, don't worry about your schedule. Your fans are still here.
That's so nice.
I know. I was like, aw, thanks.
They're going to have a lot to say about the movies that are dropping this week as this review comes out. So if you want to talk about the movies right now, hop into our Facebook group. And if you want more from us, we have a Patreon. You can get a free 7 days, where you can catch up on back episodes. We produce new episodes every Monday. Those are a real fun lifestyle hangout chat situation. Are you ready to talk Heidelberg?
Yeah.
Let's hear a synopsis.
Heidi Heidelberg receives the dream opportunity to sell her beautiful handmade glass ornaments at the prestigious Heidelberg Christmas market in Germany. While there, she meets Lucas, a local artisan who doesn't want to be called an artist, who helps her reconnect to her lost heritage. I ad-libbed the doesn't want to be called an artist. Did you catch it? No, you didn't? It was such a smooth read.
It was a smooth read, and I actually thought about that because that's right. He was very reluctant to claim that artist role. Okay.
Yeah. The dude made furniture. I think there's
art in that.
Absolutely.
Yes, it was beautiful, even without all his carvings.
Mm-hmm.
This was written and directed by Maclain Nelson. His resume is pretty short with less than 10 writing credits. His previous Hallmark titles include A Nashville Legacy and #Xmas.
Megan just cocked her head.
Well, Rob Otkin wrote that, so they must have co-written that. As for directing, Nelson has 15 directing credits, including last year's Haul Out the Holly, Hidden Gems, Presence of Love, as well as a few others. Upcoming for the director is the highly anticipated Haul Out the Holly 2, Lit Up.
Lit Up. I just think that's so funny. Gina Claire Mason stars as Heidi. This is her second movie for Hallmark. She starred in last year's A Holiday Spectacular. If you don't know Gina Claire Mason, she's an accomplished stage actor. She was Glinda in Wicked on Broadway.
Frederick Brossier plays Lucas. He's a Germany-based actor with mostly German projects.
Listen, I put these notes together and I saw the name of his projects, but they were all in German. I'm like, look, I'm not going to even attempt to try to say them.
No, we're good.
Okay. We got a cameo in this movie. Did you see it?
I'm going to tell you that I knew there was a cameo in this movie, and I didn't see it. And I watched this very carefully, but perhaps glanced away to write a note down.
All right. Maclain Nelson shared on his Instagram that the giving of the
Studentenkuss.
I mean, it's really pronounced how it's written almost, right? Studentenkuss is a real German tradition dating back to 1863. And when he learned about it, he's like, oh, yes, I am definitely putting this in the movie.
That's nice.
It's cute.
This was filmed mostly in Heidelberg, Germany, as well as the Heidelberg Castle. These scenes are filmed in Serbia.
Some scenes were filmed in Serbia.
That's different from a few?
No, I didn't hear you say a few. This was filmed in December 2022 and took 49 days to film and wrapped up January 31, 2023. Now I have a little news and note here.
Yeah?
Gina Claire Mason and her husband welcomed a baby girl in April 2023. Girl math tells me she was pregnant while filming.
Indeed, she must have been. That's how that works.
Yeah, and if you go back and watch, you can see like she's in coats, a lot of coats. Scarves that hang in front. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if filming took so long because they took some time off for the holidays.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, because you're not going to work through Christmas, right?
I wonder how many days they got off.
I don't know.
Glass ornament artist Lindsay Designs shared on her Instagram that she was chosen by Hallmark to create the ornaments you can see in the movie.
You know, side note here, Lindsay Designs sure sounds a lot like Keith Costumes.
It does.
That's all.
One of our faves. First impression time.
You're going to go first.
Okay, well, I want to say that I posted about this on our Instagram about what I'm going to say next. And Wendy was like, no. So my first impression is I needed a waterproof mascara warning for this one.
What did you cry at?
Oh, we're going to get into it.
My first impression is not what you think it's going to be. It is, I'm here for these cozy family Christmas vibes.
Look at you.
I didn't hate it. I just wasn't crying watching it.
Oh, my goodness. Well, let's talk what we like.
Okay.
Since we're there, here's what I thought was beautiful about this movie. There was no wasted space. They build this beautiful story. So when she's talking about her family's Christmas traditions, it's not a conversation that dies there. It continues. They do her family's Christmas traditions. They honor her family's Christmas traditions.
Yes.
While also involving her in their own family's Christmas traditions.
I did enjoy all of that.
Even the boys talk about their love of Legos in a very casual way. That comes into play later in the movie where they're making their mosaic art. Nothing smaller than a Lego. Just there were none of these throwaway moments. And what made the moment that made me cry, the final 30, 40 minutes of the movie, here's what happens. When they bring the tree into the house to decorate, because their tradition is to decorate on Christmas Eve, and hers is to have it up early, and so they compromise. What a lovely moment. That made me a little weepy. That started it.
Okay.
Do you want to say something?
And I got thoughts.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And then shortly thereafter, her ornaments arrive, and they're in ruins. And you see, I could feel her panic. Oh no, like that. There's no... What am I going to do? And then you hear her sobbing while Lucas is inside her shop. That was a moment. And the family is out there digging through it. And she's devastated. I'm already weepy about the tree. Now I'm and you knew something terrible was going to happen.
Yeah, of course. You knew it was coming.
But watching it come to fruition and something about the juxtaposition of the goofy German postal worker with this tragic moment really, really did it for me. Then she and Lucas have this moment, and she doesn't deny her feelings for him, but she's so overwhelmed by the disappointment that she can't even think about her feelings for Lucas. She's like, this is my life. This is all this work. I'm going to disappoint all of these people. I came here for nothing. That moment was very touching to me. And then she sits down and she has her realization about how she can turn lemons into lemonade. I did not hate that solution.
Okay.
And then they all work together to make their beautiful mosaics.
Did you really think they were better than the ornaments?
No, it's not better than the ornaments, but a very natural marrying of her talent with Lucas's. Wendy's shaking her head. And then two final moments that really bring it home for me. The woman who was buying the ornaments for her father, and she gives her the display set. As she's carrying it, I go, oh, she's going to give her the ornaments. And West Wing fans will know that this gave me he gave him the knife moment, which is a Thanksgiving episode. So the timing could not be more perfect. I need to give you the backstory here. There's an episode in which President Bartlett has his body man, which is basically like his personal assistant, Charlie, who becomes like a son to him. He has him searching for the best carving knife. And he keeps bringing him carving knives. He's like, this won't do, this won't do, this won't do. And there's finally a moment where he goes, I don't understand, sir. I thought you would have had a carving knife. And he goes, I do. And he takes it out, and it's just like this beautiful knife with this history. I'm getting chills talking about it. And he's like, it's a knife that's meant to be passed from a father to a son. And he gives Charlie the knife. And that's anybody who's watched West Wing knows he gave him the knife.
Megan's getting ready to cry, you guys.
I am. And then I'm all worked up. And then Oma arrives. And that really would have been the moment that would be it. I've had a really bad couple of days, and then my beloved grandmother shows up.
Yeah, that was nice. Look, I'm not hating on this movie. I like this movie. But let me just back it up here.
Okay.
When we reviewed Christmas Island, you said I connected to the story of Kate, right? Which admittedly, yes, That's why I like that movie so much.
Yes.
I think there's a little piece of you that's connecting to this movie of the story of marrying the two traditions together.
Ah, look at you.
Because I think maybe your traditions are not always respected.
And let me break it down. Not by my husband.
Correct.
There are outside forces. My husband and I have a harmonious holiday situation in our family. So, yes, I think that's a very insightful way of looking at it that I did not consider.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And let me be very clear. You liked Christmas Island more than I did. I liked this movie. I'm not mad that you didn't love this movie or connect with it the same way I did.
I didn't hate the movie.
I know you didn't.
Okay.
I know you didn't.
I have a whole list of things here that I liked.
It didn't have you with mascara running down your face, headphones in your ears, staring at your computer while your family's orbiting around you doing their evening things.
No, you didn't watch this with your husband either?
No, my husband doesn't do the European movies.
What? Why?
And I told him, I said, I think this is a really classically Hallmark movie that just happens to be set. He doesn't do the royal movies either.
I hate royal movies.
And I think they give him that same vibe. So like he's not going to watch A Christmas in Vienna. He just, I don't know, just not into it.
I think he would have liked this movie.
I think he would have loved it.
I think so too. Okay, let me tell you what I liked about it.
Please.
I agree. It was a sweet story. And I really enjoyed learning about like German holiday traditions.
Me too.
I think it's really cool when Hallmark can kind of like expose people to things happening in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Without like hitting us over the head with it.
In a real natural, organic way.
Absolutely. The most heartwarming scenes to me were the ones when the whole family and they're sharing the joy of the season and telling stories, and I loved that. I loved the mix of traditions. I thought that was very sweet. And I really loved, I've never heard of doing like a Christmas wish where you put it in at the end of your stocking. Like, that's so sweet. Just was like a good idea too. It wasn't like, I wish to get 1 million presents this year. It was like something deeper than that.
Yes.
I thought that was really nice. Now, I also thought that the scenery was gorgeous. And I know we've talked in previous movies where like the scenery like is a third character almost.
Yeah.
This wasn't like that for me. It was nice as a person who has been to Germany, but not to Heidelberg.
I want to go to the Christmas market.
Okay, I have a question about the Christmas markets. I thought it was bigger than that. When they were doing the overhead shots, I was like, wait a minute, is this an actual true Heidelberg Christmas market? Because it looked kind of small.
That I don't know. I know there's a ton of them, like different places have them. A friend of mine went last year specifically for that, and they spent Christmas in Europe, and they did Germany and Austria, and I think they're huge.
I know we have a listener in our Facebook group who said that she had lived there in Heidelberg. I'm going to follow up because I'm curious to see like how big these markets are. Yeah, the scope of it. Can I just say what we got 2 Bells Nickels.
2 Bells Nickels. We did.
In one weekend. And I know like the recording of these and the published dates are a little wonky, but like 2, I never even heard of this.
Neither had I.
German folklore ever. Did I also not know the difference between Saint Nick and Santa? Nope. I thought that they were the same person.
Me too.
No idea. No freaking idea. 48 years old.
I just thought it was like a different name.
Me too. I didn't know there was like a different dude. I'm saying,
Sure. That comes and fills your boots.
Yeah. No idea. Gina Marie singing.
Oh.
I mean, I'm so glad we get that talent of hers in a movie that seemed very natural. It wasn't just like she was like, well, I don't know. She didn't really like show that she had any singing experience, right? Like it was never talked about. She just got up and like sang. It was a really nice scene because it wasn't just like her singing the entire time where I would have got like secondhand embarrassment. It was like interspersed with like
Saint Nick and Bells Nickel handing out. Yeah, I liked that. I think it was nice to have it was an organic moment to utilize her talents, to have her singing this carol during that holiday event.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean about there's no wasted space. We've had a lot of movies where there's some sort of like nonprofit event happening and it's always handled badly with like people who don't really have a whole lot of knowledge of how these things run.
Yeah.
And when they're like, oh, we'd like to be able to give them all a gift. And they're like, well, we don't have the budget for that. And she goes, I have a solution. And I thought, it's not going to pan out. And they did the absolute most logical thing by going to the Christmas market and asking for those donations. And I was like, that's actually perfect.
Yeah.
The gifts they're going to get are these beautiful, handmade, lovely things. And that is how you get things, by going and asking people for them. And she had made these connections at the market, and then it paid off. I really liked that.
Yeah, I liked it too. And finally, I really enjoyed that the romance between Lucas and Heidi developed early, and there was like early kisses, and it wasn't just like this whole thing leading to the end.
We got to see the whole development.
Yeah, because I think
falling for each other.
That's like a natural progression. It's not just like this, we like each other, I love you, kiss.
I love that. And he like held her hand at one point. They're on the bridge, and I really thought their romance was very sweet. And we had some silliness with the like him helping her up the hill, but there wasn't manufactured conflict keeping them apart.
Right.
They just developed very naturally. Do you have anything you wished for?
I do, a few.
So I only wrote one thing down, and it's that I spent a long time wishing that we saw the inside of her cute cottage, and then we finally do. So there goes my wish. She just like keeps going to the door and going inside. And I was like, are we ever going to see it? And then we do. So I have no wishes.
Okay. I thought the pace was kind of slow. Just the whole, and I know it's not even hijinks, but like going to the post office and going to the post office and going to the post office and then keep getting turned away. Like I was just like, okay, we get it. These are going to be like, these are lost somewhere. I think maybe she should have tried to work on a resolution before she was forced to work on a resolution.
Well, I agree. But she kind of discussed it like, maybe I need to find a glass blowing shop. But then she's like, I wouldn't have time.
Yeah, I know.
I think her hands were tied. When she's packing those things up, I thought, this is a disaster. I would never trust, like,
she was like not trying to save money. I'm like, no, lady, you got to get these things there next week.
Well, and maybe they don't get packed in cardboard boxes. Maybe you need like reusable, hard-sided shipping cases.
Something.
For your glass ornaments.
Something.
Because this feels like an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, is it on her for her haphazard? I mean, she put it in there with foam peanuts. Aren't the ornaments going to sink to the bottom?
They needed some sort of structure in there. I don't mean to victim blame, but...
Yeah, I know. Finally, speaking of resolution, I thought the resolution happened so quickly, and it felt a little unbelievable. You're going to put your crushed up ornaments on, like, his beautiful hand-carved work?
Do you wish she had at least asked him for permission to do that?
I just think she should have come up with a different idea to sell. I just, I wasn't particularly drawn to that sort of artistry.
Okay.
I thought his hand-carved work was beautiful.
Me too.
And I liked her ornaments, but I didn't see how they work together. That's all. Okay.
Did you see that?
I got a few.
Me too. Go ahead.
When Heidi tells her dad that there are still a few hours left on Thanksgiving Day, and his response is, but my countdown to Christmas started at the end of October, I laughed out loud.
Loved it. And speaking of Hallmark call-outs, there is a Hallmark Gold Crown store right next to the shipping store that she goes to.
Yep.
There's a baby in this movie. Have we ever seen a Hallmark movie with a baby? Like a...
Yeah, 3 wise men and a baby.
Like a toddler baby that's like...
Oh, the sweet little girl. It was her niece, and she's stacking the stuff on the table.
She's got like her little pacifier in her mouth. And then she's sitting at the dinner table, and I thought, there's a baby, like 3 wise men and a baby, and then there's children that can be taught to act. And then you got a wild card of a toddler who knows what she's going to do. And I thought it was an interesting choice, because that's a hard thing to act around.
That's got to be somebody's kid, right?
That's what I thought.
It's got to be.
Especially because she's like got the pacifier in her mouth. It felt very like, this is someone's baby. I thought she was so cute.
Real cute. When she was like stacking those toys on the table, I was like, oh, look at that beautiful Christmas decor right next to it that this toddler's not touching.
Yeah.
Right. Oma's map was something out of a professional.
Beautiful.
She's like, here, I made this map for you and I rolled it up in a scroll. Like, come on.
I know, but I wrote it down. I actually loved her beautiful list. I mean, what's the other option? She's got like a grocery list that she hands over to her.
Because that's more realistic. When they bring the Christmas tree out, I loved this scene too. There was one string of lights on the tree. Just one. Can you hear my seat?
I can.
Every time I move, it squeaks.
We need to talk about the cameo.
Yes. Jonathan Bennett and his husband, James Vaughn, appear in the market scene. Heidi is at like one of the booths. Mm-hmm. She walks away, and then like Jonathan Bennett and his husband then walk away from the booth too.
You know what I love about this scene is that it was not planned.
No, I know.
So there's a real cute video on Gina Claire Mason or Jonathan Bennett, I'm not sure, one of their Instagrams of the actual moment where Jonathan and his husband surprise her. They happen to be in Germany traveling while they're filming.
And do you think they like know each other from like last year?
Yeah, they know each other. They clearly knew each other. She was just so shocked. The joy on her face is so lovely. She's like, what are you doing here? And then they put them in the movie.
Yeah, I think they were just there for...
They were just visiting.
Visiting, travel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun. He's like, hey, that looks like a Hallmark movie production over there. Let me go check it out.
Yeah.
It's funny. I have one more.
Okay.
And you mentioned it. When she gives away her suitcase of the samples, why is she giving away the suitcase that has the samples in it?
Probably because that's the best way to transport them without them getting ruined.
I know, but that's hers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was
weird.
weird.
How was she going to give all these ornaments?
You would think she would have some sort of box system. Yeah, like, right?
Yes.
You're right, because...
They're in a little wooden crate when she's shipping them.
Anyway, that's all. That's all I got.
What'd you rate this movie?
I gave it 3.75 stars.
4.5.
I thought it was a really nice movie.
It's one of my top 3 at the moment. Keep in mind, listeners, we have not seen the big movies of the week. I understand something could happen.
No. I need to know what your top 3 are then.
The Santa Summit, Mystic Christmas, and this.
Interesting.
What are your top 3?
Santa Summit, Christmas Island, and Mystic Christmas. But like you said, things can change.
At any moment.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. We would love, really love, your 5-star ratings and reviews on our podcast. It's the best way to help us out and help other people find our podcast. You can leave those in the Apple Podcast app. It's purple on your phone. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Are you tired of waiting for sparks to fly on your dating app? Do you dream of running through airports to deliver an out-of-breath, unplanned monologue? Then stop doom scrolling and start listening to Meet Cute Rom-Coms. Feel-good love stories that take you from chance encounter to grand romantic gesture in just 15 minutes. We're bringing rom-coms back. Get a brand new Meet Cute series on the first Tuesday of every month, with new episodes twice a week. Fall in love with Meet Cute Rom-Coms, wherever you find your podcasts.
Is this where we kiss?